don't think it came down anymore though. I see the platform moving, and I see both prongs all the way out. Okay, it's bouncing though, so it's not coming all the way down. We'll try it together to see if it moves.
Are any of the tethers preventing it from going back?
Let's take a look. I see the platform moving a lot.
I see it moving too in the video.
It's moving more than before, but it feels like it's getting to a hard stop. We got to pull it down towards the yoke.
Check the tethers.
Okay, let me just look this over because we still have.
This is Mission Control Houston. We're now 3 hours 42 minutes into today's spacewalk by Tim Kopra and Dave Wolf. You see them there continuing to work on this, what's called a UCAS, Unpressurized Cargo Carrier Attachment System.
Right, and the one that attaches the yoke to the platform.
And they're loose and floppy.
Right.
And they get looser as it goes more in.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's not those.
No, it is moving. I can pull it from here. It is moving now. Yep. It's free. It is free.
John. Houston Endeavor for EPA. Fantastic job to the DRT tool team. We've got the UCAS free.
This is Mission Control Houston. Tim Kopra, Dave Wolf, successfully deploying the UCAS system. They're wrapping up some of the work in this area. They have about another 20 minutes or so to go in this particular area of the station. What's on the schedule up next for Kopra
Clockwise
and for Wolf is to move over to the starboard side on the truss of the International Space Station and set up what's called a PASS, or a payload attach system. It's basically almost identical to this UCAS that they're working on. It's basically a place on the outside of the station where you can mount some cargo.
Spin this freely, as you described earlier.
The team here in Houston is taking a look at the timeline to see if that can or cannot be done, if they decide to wave that off. And there's some other tasks that they're going to ask Wolf and Kopra to take care of down in the payload bay of Endeavor. But they'll be making that judgment call over the next few minutes just based on the timeline. We'll talk to the crew about that, about the plan ahead. And there you see the exposed facility, this large 18 feet wide porch-like structure which will go on the outside of Kibo and will allow up to 10 different experiments to be installed and exposed to the harsh environment of space.
Houston Endeavor for EPA, you probably heard us talking, but our plan to proceed for the remainder of the day is clean up here at CAS, delete the S3 pass, and just go for FPP sleeves and lap cable tie-down get-aheads, maybe the node gap spanner, and ingress at the 5, no later than 5:30.
We like that plan, and also we're ready for RTL.
Pilot Doug Hurley and the brand new mission specialist for STS-127, Koichi Wakata, are both inside the U.S. Destiny laboratory at this time, operating this very large station robotic arm.
You're okay.
Commander Mark Polanski and Julie Payette are inside the shuttle on the flight deck, operating the shuttle's robotic arm in this very well choreographed dance that is going on between these two robotic arms. This is Mission Control Houston, a good view now of the station's robotic arm attached to this exposed facility, being moved ever so slightly toward its final destination on the end of the Kibo laboratory. Two spacewalkers for today, Dave Wolf and Tim Kopra, steadily making their way back into the Quest airlock. We're at a elapsed time now of 5 hours 17 minutes. This exposed facility, which you see there, still attached to the station's robotic arm, awaiting this final few feet as it will be attached to the Kibo laboratory. It actually has 12 different attachment points on it that different experiments can be assembled onto and exposed to the environment of space, where there will be some Earth observations conducted and also some physics and materials research conducted on this once it is installed. The exposed facility itself actually has the passive side of the birthing mechanism, while the Kibo laboratory has what's called the active side. Basically what will happen is once this exposed facility is driven into the Kibo laboratory there you see on the right, there's 4 different attachment points around this large circular ring you see there that are driven by motors. So once the connection is made, those motors will drive the bolts into the exposed facility, which will complete the connection.
Tsukuba and SSRMS operator on Space to Ground 2. We have 4 closed capture labs. You can stop SSRMS safing monitoring.
Houston, copy.
Billy, we copy. Stop monitoring of SSRMS safing. Tsukuba copies.
Once they confirm that everything's in the proper position, they will release the station's arm and back it off.
Station Houston on 2 for robotics.
Go ahead, Aki, on 2.
Koichi, we see good tension. We see about 820, as you mentioned, on the ground as well, and that's the tension that we wanted. So at this time, we are good to proceed. In order to do that, we would like you to cancel safing, take the brakes off, and limp all joints, and pick back up with the procedure.
Houston Endeavor, air to ground 2.
We're listening, Mark.
Well, it's been a pretty incredible day on orbit for us, and we wanted to first pass on our appreciation to everybody on your team, and just acknowledge all the hard work that everyone has been doing besides ourselves in making this mission possible. Getting the Jeff installed was a pretty fantastic accomplishment, and we're all very happy to be a part of it. On another note, before we go to bed, we noticed in the news uplink that a gentleman and a pioneer passed away, and that person, of course, is Walter Cronkite, and we thought that we'd be remiss in not recognizing him for what he meant to a bunch of us who happened to grow up in the era where the early astronauts and Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo were going off, and I certainly remember watching television and watching many astronauts sit next to him, providing commentary from a desk somewhere down in Florida. Dave Wolf mentioned that he had the honor of sitting next to Walter when John Glenn went back up.